Yep, so you're now streaming it on YouTube. Once you close out of Zoom, it will. So you're gonna be on it the whole time. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I guess we can go ahead and start.
Yeah. But there's nobody in the waiting room, so you don't have anybody to.
Right, and his meeting was at 8, so he's not attending.
No.
So we can still have it.
So you can pause the recording so that the record isn't there if you want when you're not, but it's still gonna be streaming on YouTube, so. With the pause button right over there.
Oh, just this.
Yeah, that's just the official record, because if somebody requested a transcript, they don't need everybody sitting here, right?
Right.
But
we're still, that's where, okay, so we'll still be on YouTube.
Right.
So no picking. Are we being, can they hear us?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We can, do you want to go ahead with his first hearing
Yep.
that he didn't show up for?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me hit the.
And then I would just bookmark like we did. Just put the docket in the name. Okay. I'm gonna go see if we can make ours work.
Thanks, Mrs.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, go ahead.
On the record, Rhonda Tripp versus Norman Overmeyer. This is file number 98086243DS. This is a order to show cause hearing scheduled this day, date, and time. Specifically June 10, 2020 at 8 a.m. It's now 8:26 as we start this hearing, given technical problems. Present is our caseworker, Melissa LaFontaine. Ms. LaFontaine, you have a summary of these file status, is that right?
Yes, roughly Manser. Here's on this. It appears on this case, there are 340 cases. The majority of the arrears are owed to foster care. The account balance is $2,876.79. Last payment was $170 on 2/1/2010, which was made by the payer. Prior to that, there was another payment of $160 on 12/15/2009, also made by the payer. He has had 3 previous bench warrants, 1 show cause hearing in the past 12 months. The last order of the court was from 5/30/2014. That was a show cause hearing that was dismissed. The payer was ordered to send payments to the Michigan State Disbursement Unit. Since then, we have had no payments. There's no employer or social security information located. He was approved for a state arrears payment plan in 2008, which he did not complete. We have been unable to locate Mr. Overmeyer for the past several years until now. And
Any specific recommendation to address and resolve this file, Ms. LaFontaine?
possibly a payment plan, but the case possibly is eligible for closure, being that the last payment was more than 10 years ago.
I would note that this is also a balance only owed by Mr. Overmeyer primarily to foster care, is that right?
Yes.
Very good. Actually, the file also reflects a previous obligation for Mr. Overmeyer to pay Ms. Tripp directly in support. However, no current charge in effect. Nothing is owed within our system to Ms. Tripp by Mr. Overmeyer, nothing owed by Mr. Overmeyer to the state. The only obligation or liability is accrued service fees. This juncture, since this file is so old, I'm going to recommend that an order enter that the case be remanded to the enforcement caseworker for possible research to determine whether it'd be appropriate under the circumstances to incur either further enforcement measures or propose to the court an order canceling the arrearages, given the past history of the DHS 681 being applied for and approved, and to see if in fact this case is eligible for a case closure within the front of the court system. Would that be acceptable to you?
Yes.
Very good. Anything else we need to go over?
No.
Very good. We'll go off the record. Appreciate your appearance and thanks for coming in. We'll go off the record. Shane.
And then there's medical documentation from the court treaty. I got from other things. And then this is-
Yeah.
Let me go see if Mrs. is back there, okay?
Yeah. Hmm. Is this,
This is his normal.
that, it's not even a ring.
He's been a pretty non-participant for the last 5+ years, so. not surprising.
Last few hearings, he's always participated.
Excuse me?
Last few hearings, he's always participated.
Yeah, when it's in his benefit to not pay any money for his children. How dare. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Pause.
Hmm?
It went through after a pause. I did not leave a message, but it identifies him by the name Dave.
I did hear.
So you want to try it again? And there'll be a big pause there
Yeah,
when you don't hear anything. And then
Right.
you just have to wait.
Mr. McCready, front of the court's office, calling for an 8:30 hearing. It's now 8:40 on Wednesday, June 10th. Please return my call as soon as possible. I can be reached at the following number only: 517-768-6487, 517-768-6487. Do not call any other number other than the one I just referenced. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation. Anyone have a seat outside, and if he calls, we'll get you in that at that time. Or if he does not call in a reasonable time, we'll call you back in and go back on the record. Can you do that?
For a little bit.
Very good.
I mean, it's really inconvenient to answer your phone in the camera.
I'll take care of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, gotcha. Mhm. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, well, as long as everything's working. Ours is that we're restarting, so I can't get quick credit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Back in the recommended Tabitha McCready versus David McCready, 844 Bennett Street in Jackson. Your address, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
I have Mr. McCready at 2661 Miriam Street South in Gulfport, Florida. Is that his address as best you know?
Sure.
This matter was originally before me. Let's see here. Was last before me, I should say, May 6, 2020, regarding the allegation that Mr. McCready has failed to comply with his child support payment obligations. Mr. McCready only appeared for hearing, and I made the following findings of fact. Defendant only appearing via telephone representing that he recently underwent surgery concerning an urgent health matter. Defendant having provided credible and persuasive documentation to that effect from his physicians. Defendant stating that he has applied for Social Security disability and has a follow-up exam and testing in the near future. Defendant currently unable to work, and without objection, the show cause hearing shall be adjourned to the above referenced date, and time, which in fact is today, June 10, 2020. This matter was scheduled at 8:30. It's now about 8:55. We've given Mr. McCready an ample time to appear via telephone, which he has appeared in the past. I left a message about 15, 20 minutes ago asking him to call my direct line. I've not received any response, thus we commence our hearing. An amended temporary order shall enter reserving defendant's current child support charges effective March 17, 2020, the latter being the date of the previously scheduled hearing. Until further court order, all accrued arrearages shall be preserved and payable by defendant. As a consequence of that order that entered, we did receive updated documentation on May 27, 2020 from Mr. McCready. He providing a copy of the surgical summary. Also provided documentation that he has inquired with the Social Security Administration in terms of a possible receipt of Social Security benefits, to which the children, if granted, would receive their own specific benefit. The child, Calissa, how old is she?
Just turned 6.
Cade,
And
Maya,
12
okay? They're all in your physical custody,
every day.
okay? So, given that fact, given what I've just stated on the record, we do have, as I say, have some updated documentation that I just referenced on the record.
So,
It's a very difficult situation in which having the person being show cause not appear for hearing. Previously, he has appeared via telephone. I think I can recall 2 specific hearings, I believe, that he appeared as ordered. I'm frankly surprised that he did not appear today, or not appear to this point in time. What we can do in this case, ma'am, with what I've just said, anything you'd like me to know in response?
yeah, that's weird because he posted on Facebook like 4 months ago that he's completely cured and he's self-employed. He's out kayaking, having fun, enjoying Florida. He doesn't have a past history of paying when he was healthy. So why are we concerned that he's not healthy now? Like, if he had a past history of actually paying or giving a crap about his kids, then I would say, you know what, maybe life's hard. But you know what, life's hard for me too. It doesn't give me a pass to not pay for my children, not give a shit about my children, or not take care of them, does it? For some reason, the court thinks he doesn't need to take care of his kids because he's sick. If If I get sick, are you gonna take care of my kids? No. And here's the proof that he's been healthy. And I have more pictures of him out kayaking and having a gay old time for the last few months. So how come he can't pay money for his kids?
What was the date of that picture?
Would you like it? I had it printed April 11th, before his court hearing. This is off his Facebook. I didn't print off the pictures of him out kayaking and biking and having fun with his self-employed girlfriend, who of course he can fly under the radar because when you're self-employed, you can do what you want to do. So would you like this?
Do you have reason to believe he can work?
I know he's working.
No, but do you believe he's working?
Yes,
Where is he working, do you know?
he's self-employed.
What does he do?
DB Brown, I mean, I had my phone, I could look it up. DB Brown, they have an actual, it's registered. My cousin works at a bank, like he has a registered business in Florida.
So Mr. McCready is self-employed. It's, the name of the business is DB Brown.
It's DB something contracting, which if I had my phone, I can look it up on Facebook. It's got a whole Facebook page.
Any significance of the letters DB?
It's Dave and, or Debbie and whatever her name is and his name, something to do.
Okay.
You know, and they drive a Land Rover. They live in a fat apartment. Like, they have money. But when you say you're self-employed, you can do whatever you want. And then you can apply for disability and you can screw the system. And I'm not asking her, I'm just saying, pick up the tab. I don't expect he's gonna pay. Or let's get him out of here and sign off your rights. And I don't want to deal with this because I feel disrespected every time I come here. When I see this sign, I laugh because I feel disrespected. I've been here for the last 10 years taking care of my kids. And when you say he's participated because he answered the phone, that's not participating in my children's life.
You're absolutely correct. I meant participation in terms of appearing for hearing only, ma'am.
And it's only when it's for his convenience.
Okay,
And so I'm like, hey, cool, I'll sign off. Let's just get rid of him.
okay,
How about he has no rights to my children? I'll sign off on the $21,000 he owns right now.
okay. Well, I don't have authority to, I don't have jurisdiction to hear that matter.
Okay, well, I'm throwing that out there as an option for him. Like, I don't know if it's a pride thing, but like, hey, I'm terrified if I die, that my kids are gonna go to him.
Okay.
He wouldn't even know my
What I-
6-year-old if he seen her on the street. He wouldn't even know her.
What I'm going to do, ma'am, I'm going to recommend an order that this case be referred back to the caseworker for enforcement purposes, which may include the following, but not exclusively. We could set this matter, the caseworker can set this matter right before Judge Jordan herself for disposition. In other words, you and he and you would have an opportunity to tell the judge directly his situation. You could tell the judge your situation. We could recommend an order. The caseworker could recommend an order whereby Mr. McCready provide an updated written authoritative statement from his physician defining any physician-imposed work restrictions, and/or we could consider, caseworker could consider a possible interstate enforcement in which the case would be transferred from the jurisdiction of Jackson County Circuit Court down to the appropriate circuit court in Florida. They itself, the Florida jurisdiction, would then enforce the order that has been imposed by upon Mr. McCready regarding his child support. So the caseworker has a number of options to consider. Do you have any particular suggestion as to what we should do? I would certainly value your opinion, ma'am.
Honestly, sir, I don't want to do any of that you just said. I just want you to keep it rolling because I'm going to take over after this. I'm calling the attorney general. Like, I'm done with the front of the court. I've already played this game. I've been playing this game with him.
But with respect to you, so you would like me, our office, to disregard any of the suggestions I just made? Or what do you?
I just want to keep his tab rolling and we'll let the attorney general take over.
Oh.
Keep it rolling.
Okay, you always can pursue that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really upset that you guys stopped it because he tried over a year ago, and I was gonna ask that lady out there, he tried over a year ago to do this, and we actually met at the downtown court for the only time ever, because usually I come here. So that was kind of odd, and he tried doing that there, and then he could not provide the proper documentation last year. So he's been trying to get out of this for a year, and I might care if he had paid the previous, 9 years, but he hasn't.
Okay, well,
So I don't want to have to come here. I don't want to have to talk to caseworker. I'm tired of using my time and my energy to deal with this dude when he can't even answer his phone in his pajamas at his home in Florida. Like, no, I don't want to come talk to a caseworker. I don't want to do any of that. I have 3 kids to take care of. I don't want to come here again. I don't want to be treated like a criminal to walk in your door and not bring my phone and my keys and my lighter and all that crap.
That's policy of the.
I know, but do you see what I'm saying? This dude here, what does he do? He sits at his home and decides if he's gonna answer his phone. Meanwhile, I have to find a babysitter for my 3 children to come to court. I have to find a babysitter to come talk to some caseworker. I have to find a babysitter to come back. I don't wanna do all that. Just get rid, I just wanna be done with him. Like, I am sick of wasting my precious life energy on this piece of garbage. So I'm sorry.
I didn't know anything.
Apparently, my secretary heard my phone, and apparently, Mr. McCready has returned my phone call.
And all I'm asking is for it to keep rolling. That's it. That's my,
Right.
and I'll call the attorney general when we're done. And I know where he's at, and I will give up his information. How about his tax records from his business? I'm just like, no, I just want him to go away. I don't want his money. I'm sorry. I know I can't do it. So I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you, sir. I feel extremely disrespected by the court. And this is a laughing joke right here. And it makes me want to fight for some women. It makes me want to fight. So is that possible, just to say, hey, let's just pick up your child support, like you were not paying it anyways? It's not like he was paying it. So what does it matter? He just wants permission to not pay it? Like, is that what he's asking? Then if that's cool, then just write it. Then let's just do it, because I'm not coming back here.
My secretary just told me that she talked to Mr. McCready, and Mr. McCready was directed to specifically call my hearing room number. So we're waiting for his call.
You know, I have quite a big thing for my 3 children, and I had to get a ride to it.
Mhm.
That's why I'm doing it, for him. It's ludicrous.
Okay, we've been at least 5 minutes since my secretary personally talked to Mr. McCready, instructed him to call my hearing room number. He was so instructed. He's not done that. We're going to move on in terms of disposing of this matter. And would you have any objection if we set this right before the court for disposition? We could do that.
I do.
Would you prefer that?
I would prefer you just to keep his child support rolling.
Are you seeking, ma'am, a court hearing before the ultimate authority of the judge herself?
I am not.
You're not seeking that?
I am not seeking the court to waste any more of my time.
Okay. Well, we're going to do the best we can to try to enforce the order in effect for Mr. McCready to pay child support, ma'am. And you'll receive a copy of the order. It may include a hearing before the judge. It's for Mr. McCready. You're welcome to appear. You don't.
Can I appear by phone so I can sit home in my pajamas and I don't have to pay somebody to watch my kids that he doesn't help pay for?
It's very possible you could appear via
Because
phone.
do you get what I'm saying? Like, this is not fair.
Do you have, well, we could do this, do you have access to the Zoom process?
I do. I have a Zoom app on my
Very
phone.
good. You can appear via Zoom as
That
well.
would be fantastic. Then I don't have to at least pay a child care provider,
Very
right?
good, yeah.
Thank you. That would be fantastic. And
Okay.
I'm so sorry for being crappy to you.
Well,
because it's not your
we'll
fault.
set, it will be on a Thursday afternoon to be specified in the order in the mail, ma'am. The order you receive will specify the day, date, and time. It'll be before Judge Jordan. It's definitely going to be at 1 o'clock on a specified Thursday, okay?
Awesome.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
And I'll summarize exactly the status of the situation for the judge's benefit, and certainly you'll be given an opportunity to fully explain to the court your position on this entire matter, okay? Any questions?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be
Any
really
questions?
disrespectful to you.
No problem, no problem. Any questions?
No.
Thanks for coming in. Keep an eye on the mailbox. We're going to send it to 844 Bennett Street, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Oh, I did get a new phone number as of a couple days ago. Can I give that to you? It's 517.
Excuse me, is that it right there?
No, it's very close. It's 5472 at the end.
5472.
Yes.
We'll change it in our system. Thank you for the information. You can shut the door. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
No. Maybe not.
Speak to Timothy Phelas, please. In front of the court's office, I'm going to put you on the speakerphone, okay? On the record, Madam Michelle Phelas versus Timothy Phelas, file number 2007-27772, DP, as well as Timothy Phelas versus Brittany Rosati, 2013-3217, DM. Mr. Phelas, I've got you at 7718 Case Road in Brooklyn. Is that correct?
Yes.
Neither of the other parties on the file appear either by a phone or in person, nor by attorney. This show cause hearing in both cases was originally held before me on May 6, 2020. Mr. Phelas only appearing on each. An order entered based upon the testimony from Mr. Phelas, basically that he was the victim of a break-in shooting incident on February 10, 2020, sustaining lower leg fractures requiring surgery. Defendant currently in the recovery mode with scheduled follow-up appointments to address his leg function without objection. Order shall enter adjourning the show cause hearing to the above referenced date and time, which is June 10, 2020 at 9 a.m. Defendant shall provide in the interim prior to the scheduled review date updated written documentation from his physician defining any of his diagnosis and any employment capabilities. Mr. Phelas, did you comply with that portion of the order?
I'm scheduled as of when I had the last hearing with you. My appointment is scheduled for July 1st is when I go back for my follow-up with the surgeon to get more x-rays to see if the bone is healed. Like the court systems, because I have to keep, I'm on probation, so I keep my probation department informed too, so they're also on board with that as far as waiting to get the update status of my leg, because as of right now, I'm still, excuse me, I'm still currently partial weight bearing where I'm required to use the crutches to assist walking until I get the x-rays and the approval from the doctor saying that I can put full weight on my leg.
But did you provide, since we last?
I didn't have any documentation from the doctor, because at that time I was on house arrest because of this incident.
You said something about being on probation. What does that deal with?
My probation?
Yeah.
I've been on probation for the past 2 years.
Why?
For OWI in 2018 or 17.
Are you facing any sort of criminal prosecution or inquiry regarding the February 10, 2020 gun incident?
As of right now, the only thing that I'm figuring out with my lawyer is a possible violation, because I was in the same vicinity as a firearm, so they're trying to violate me because of that, not due to the fact of anything else.
Okay. All right. So your July 1, 2007, 20, that's a doctor's appointment here in town?
Yes.
Okay.
And Dr. Robert Jones.
Okay.
General surgery.
All right.
And that's at 10 a.m.
What income now do you personally have?
What's that?
What personal income do you have presently?
None right now.
And how are you?
I can't work.
How are you meeting your own food, clothing, and shelter needs?
I stay with my parents, and I receive food assistance.
Okay. Any change in any other relevant, pertinent circumstances since we last met on May 6th?
No, nothing else has changed. Everything's the same.
Okay. All right. We're going to adjourn this sometime after July 1, right before Judge Jordan herself At that time, you shall appear and provide,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, you got to provide to the courthouse. If they're not open by then, you got to provide written, again, documentation from your position to finding your diagnosis and any employment capabilities or physician-imposed restrictions. So we're going to keep that
Okay.
portion of the order in effect. The order will contain that provision as well as the new day, date, and time. Can you appear via the Zoom process?
Yeah, if need be.
All right. And we'll give you instructions on that. But the court needs to have the documentation from the doctor prior to the hearing itself. You understand that?
Yes, yes.
All right. Any questions?
No.
Thanks very much. Keep an eye on the mailbox. This will be applicable to both cases, okay?
Thank you.
Go off the record. Hmm. Oh, yeah.
No, I'm looking at my screen. We're going to admit Miranda, that's not on this case,
Mhm.
and then we'll have to ask who this next person is. Let's ask who the phone number is. Right here. Go ahead, Jen.
Okay, on the record, matter Miranda Perrin versus Torrin Pollock. Ms. Perrin, are you appearing via Zoom?
Oh, wait, she's moving, hang on.
Are you appearing via Zoom, ma'am? Ma'am, can you hear me?
Hello?
Okay, try her now.
Can you hear
Can you
me?
hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can.
All right, speak up nice and loud if you would. Mr. Pollock, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, both parties are present. This is the show cause hearing relative to allegations that Mr. Pollock has failed to comply with his child support payment obligations. Our caseworker, Melissa LaFontaine, is here. She will present a summary of the file, and I'll give enough opportunity for the parties to respond to her summary. Ms. LaFontaine.
Referee Manser, this is a 2017 docket. It is a currently charging docket, charging $86 a month, which is about $19.77 a week. The total account balance is $2,367.72. It appears the last payment was on 12/5/2018 of, in the amount of $35, which is made by the payer. Prior to that, there was also a payment on 11/2/2018 made by the payer in the amount of $32. That order of report was actually the original court order dated 11/7/2017. There have been no payments in 2018, and there has been no employer located.
Very good. Mr. Pollock, is that an accurate assessment of the file as best you know?
Best of my knowledge.
Are you working?
No.
What income do you have?
What's that?
What income do you have?
I just do side jobs at the moment.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to speak up. You sound quite muffled.
I do side jobs at the moment.
How long you been doing side jobs?
I mean, I do them whenever I can get them.
I can't hear you. Try it again. How long?
I do them whenever I can get them.
When's the last time you did a side job?
What's that?
When's the last time you did a side job?
Couple weeks ago.
How much did you make?
It was only a little $75 job.
Did you apply any of that money to your child support obligation in this case?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Did you provide any of that money to be applied on this child support case?
No, I didn't.
Is there any reason why you didn't?
Well, to be honest with you, I was, it's not that I don't want to provide for my son. It's, I would like to be able to see my son and be able to spend time with my son.
Do you have an order that gives you parenting time?
I had parenting time. It was the supervisor on it, so this case cut off again. When COVID started, so I haven't been able to see him since. But even before then, he kept calling and canceling our visits.
Mr. Pollock, I didn't hear a word you said. I don't know what's going on in terms of this communication, but I'm having a real hard time listening to, or hearing you, I should say. Did you speak into your phone?
Yeah, my phone is up to my mouth.
All right. Have you ever worked for a business or a company or a corporation?
Yes, I have before.
And when's the last time you did that?
I had to say 2018.
Where'd you work?
I was working at Wolverine Trailers.
How long did you work there?
Almost a year.
What happened that you no longer work there?
Pardon me?
What happened that you no longer work there?
I was a head welder, and the boss did not want to give any kind of raise.
So you quit?
We kind of just like butted heads and
Did you
split
quit?
ways.
What? What happened?
Yes. I was been looking for something new, but I'm also struggling with, I've had brain surgery and stuff, so I'm trying to get on disability because there's a lot that I can't do.
So what, are you receiving some sort of disability now?
No, I'm still trying.
So you applied for Social Security disability?
I'm still trying to get disability, yes.
Did you
I have
apply
not
for
received
it?
any.
Did you apply for it?
Yes, they denied me, and I'm
When did you apply for it?
I actually applied for it right after my brain surgery, which was July 20th, 2016. And then they denied me, and I've been working on going back through it. I went to DHS and applied, and I got to go through a bunch more paperwork that is coming in the mail.
With whom do you live at your, by the way, I've got you living at 4491 Human Drive in Jackson, is that correct?
I reside in Jackson, yes.
Is that your address?
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
4491 Yuma Drive, is that where you live?
Yes.
717 Royal Drive is your address, ma'am?
At the moment, yes.
All right. With whom do you live with, Mr. Pollock, if anybody?
So who do I live with?
Yeah.
My fiance.
Is it her house or your house or what?
No, it's a friend of ours, parents' house.
Okay. Ms. Perrin, anything else, anything you'd like me to know as it relates to this matter here today?
Sure, I would, I guess I'm confused. His fiance had messaged me actually in January, stating that he takes very well care of her 3 children, and it just kind of is appalling to me as to why he can't afford $25 a week if he can take care of her 3 children.
Okay. Are you seeking any specific relief, ma'am? What would you propose that we do here?
That's a very good question. I'm not sure as to what steps we should take in the forward motion.
Do you have any proposals, Ms. LaFontaine, our caseworker?
Or payment plan of at least
That would meet both current support plus arrearages, right? You understand the proposal, Mr. Pollock?
I only caught bits and pieces of what they were saying.
She's proposing that you pay $25 per week, which would include current support plus arrearages. Would that be acceptable to you?
Yeah, that'll work.
All right, when can you make your first payment?
Is that gonna come along with some parenting time for him?
Parenting time is a separate and distinct issue.
Okay.
So if you seek parenting time, you might want to consult an attorney or file a motion seeking an amended parenting time order. Or if you believe this parent is denying you parenting time, you can always file a complaint with our office. We'll set the matter for hearing. I don't know your situation regarding parenting time. All right?
Right.
Okay, when you can make your first payment?
You said $25 a week. I can make that this Friday.
Okay? In person, $25, correct?
You said 25?
$25 starting this Friday, cash only, directly at the front of the court office. Acceptable?
Yes.
Okay? And we're open, and come on in and with your money, cash only, and make the payment. 25 this Friday, June 12th, and a like amount due each subsequent Friday until further court order. Acceptable, ma'am?
Yes, it is.
Very good. Acceptable, Mr. Pollard? We'll prepare an order consistent with the party's consent on the record. Any questions, ma'am, as we wind up?
No further questions at this moment.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Pollard?
No, sir.
Thank you. We'll go off the record. Good luck to you both. Keep an eye on the mailbox. You receive a copy of the order from our hearing here today, all right?
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, next one is until 10:30. So,
And then 10:30 and 11.
all right, so about 45.
Always a pleasure seeing you.
Yeah.
She's waiting right there. To be let into the room. No, she's right there waiting. Like literally waiting right there. To be let into the waiting room. We don't even have a paperwork because it was dismissed. So, I'm gonna see if I can help you. Oh, yours is on your desk too. Here's your paperwork.
Right.
Was dismissed because
Was it mail or?
I have no idea. I didn't dismiss it. Nicole Patrick.
Yeah.
And McGowan. She's in the waiting room waiting to come to the hearing. Should we call her? Alright.
You did?
They didn't respond. And I just told her to get the case confirmed. So maybe we should, she's the only one waiting, so maybe we should plug her in and just tell her to
Yeah.
come.
Yeah.
Do you have that case information?
Yep.
Or Melissa, if you need it for reference? I can give you the case number if you need it.
162204, yes.
Let her in. Yeah, don't be a camera down.
Yeah.
See if she can hear you.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
That's right, I have to.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Hang on. Hey, double click that.
I
Okay,
can hear you.
Okay, we're on the record matter, Nicole Patrick versus Jason McGauley, file number 162204DS. This matter was scheduled for a show cause hearing at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
We received information from Mr.
I'm sorry. Let's start again.
All right, on the record matter, Nicole Patrick versus Jason McGauley, 162204DS. And you are Ms. McGauley? You are Ms. McGauley? Ms. Patrick, rather?
Yeah.
Okay. This was scheduled at 10 o'clock, ma'am, and we received an inquiry from Mr. McGauley about the status of his file a couple of days ago. We determined that he had fully complied with his child support payment obligations. His balance was zero, and he was inquiring as to why there would be a necessity to have a show cause hearing. Given that fact, we told Mr. Patrick that Ms. McGauley that the hearing would be scheduled. It's my understanding our caseworker contacted you via Matterhorn and in an attempt to call you personally to let you know the matter was canceled, given the foregoing. Okay, is that ring a bell at all?
That it was that the meeting was canceled.
Yes. Because he's fully complied with his support payment obligations. At the time he called, we checked the record and he had zero arrearages that he owed you.
Sir, the
his child support was paid by the
Who
stimulus.
is, no, ma'am, who is, I need you as the party, ma'am, only to speak, please.
Okay, he paid it off by the stimulus check that I feel like I should have gotten for the kids. That's how he's caught up with.
He didn't give you $1.
We're also getting money from them.
Apparently, our records indicate we're receiving money from his employer.
Oh, that,
No.
I don't believe that's true.
Well,
He got a stimulus check for the COVID, and that's how he paid it off. But it was because he claimed the kids in 2018.
okay, that may be true, ma'am, but all I can say to you is what our records indicate. We are receiving monies via a specific employer, number one. Number two, he has fully satisfied all arrearages that he had owed you up to this point in time. Thus, that's the basis upon which we canceled the show cause hearing, and we subsequently took measures to contact you to let you know that it was canceled, to avoid the necessity of having you appear here this morning.
See, all I get is $10 a week from him, but I feel like
You feel what? You feel what?
he paid it with the stimulus that I should have gotten because I have the children.
Well, I can't I don't know anything about that issue, ma'am. I would, I'll talk to our caseworker here, Miss LaFontaine. What would you propose that Miss Patrick do, ma'am, to address her concerns about stimulus payment and things of that nature?
Well, as far as I can see, he is current through the month of June. As far as any involuntary, that would be something that would need to be addressed with the IRS.
See, that's an IRS problem.
Tell him you don't have money for your kids.
Well,
Is Dennis in there?
no, Dennis isn't in here. So,
Do you have any questions, ma'am?
Yeah, how do you get your stimulus money back?
how do I get my stimulus money for these kids that
He took
he just took?
and wouldn't give you $1. He wouldn't give you none of it.
Okay.
That's how he paid it. He got it garnished.
The reason that he's paid up full now is because it was garnished from those checks that he got from the government.
Was he obligated?
That I feel like I should have,
obligated to pay child support to you?
that I should have gotten because I have custody of the children.
And you don't have any.
Well, I don't know who is entitled to receive any stimulus check, ma'am, to be quite frank with you.
It's down to the nitty gritty.
He shouldn't have got the stimulus check if he's not raising the children and he
Ma'am,
only paid
Ma'am,
it.
I can't take any testimony from a
I'm
non-party.
talking to myself, sir. I'm talking to myself because I raised my grandbabies and that man is abusive and crazy and that's it. That's what it is. And he only pays $10 a week. Both of the babies are autistic. They have to go to school. I pay for my grandchildren. I've been raising my grandchildren for 8 years. He pays $10 per child and takes the stimulus check that should have went to my daughter.
So that's what that's about. He's paid up, I guess, but it wasn't done the right way.
He wouldn't give her $1 to buy food for those kids or gas. He took everything. That's how he's paid up. I'm out of here.
I would suggest, ma'am, you call our main line.
Okay.
Call our main line, explain your dilemma to our front desk. They might be able to give you more information, some more suggestions as to how you're going to pursue your inquiry. That sound fair?
All right.
Okay. Mike, by the way, I was just curious. The other person that was just trying to explain things to me, who was that person?
My mother.
Does she have custody of the children?
No, I do, but she's been the one helping me the whole time.
Oh, so she does not have a custody order or a guardianship order over them, is that right?
No, it's
Okay.
me.
So it's, you are the proper party to render testimony in this case, right?
Yeah.
Very good. I'm sure your mother's a wonderful person and she probably has done a lot to help you raise the children born of you and Mr. McGauley. So I would suggest if you got concerns about what the matters you have just raised before me, ma'am. Now, again, all I'm telling you is what our records indicate.
I know, and it comes down to that, but she's upset because it's just not fair, the way that it's been done.
Okay, I can't say that it's fair. I can't say that it's not fair, ma'am, because I simply don't know the history of this case as it relates to you improperly not getting your stimulus check or he improperly not getting his, or I just simply don't have any information about that whole issue.
Yeah, well, he got his stimulus check and then he got the 1,500 for the kids from the state.
Okay,
And that's what he got. That's how he's paid up now.
okay, yeah.
So
That's
it's
what
not
you're,
fair that he got that if he doesn't have the children. But the whole reason that he got it was because he claimed them in 18 and he didn't give me anything back then. He told me if I wanted anything, I'll see him in front of the court.
okay. Again, ma'am, you also, it might be wise, and I'm not telling you what to do or what not to do, other than calling our number. You might want to consult an attorney who's skilled in this type of law. Maybe that individual might be able to help you. That's maybe a suggestion.
I have a lawyer and he was supposed to be on this. So I don't know what his deal is right now. But yeah, it's just,
Mr. Conant was informed apparently that it had been canceled, given what I had said previously.
okay, well, that's
Okay.
all. Okay.
All right, appreciate your appearance, ma'am, and hope everything works out for you. Okay?
$10 a week,
All right,
Thank you. Go off the record. Bye-bye.
$10 a week.
So we are at 10:30. I don't see anyone in the waiting room.
Well, I don't have to call anybody.
No, we're waiting for them and there's no one,
Nobody there?
no one has checked in yet. It's
Oh.
almost 2 minutes left here.
Move on.
If you want to.
Let's move on.
Okay, give me a second. Okay, go ahead.
On the record matter of Levada Allen versus Lloyd Nolan. This is file number 2002-1074 DS. I would note, we start this hearing about 16 minutes before 11. This matter was scheduled at 10:30. Sufficient notice was rendered by our office to both parties to appear via the Zoom. We have not received any information from either one about their intention to do so, nor any other information. With that said, I'll defer to our ace caseworker, Melissa LaFontaine, to explain on the record exactly the status of the file. Ms. LaFontaine.
Jeffrey Manser, on this 2002 docket, it does appear that the payer does live out of state according to our records. This is a small arrears only case. It appears that he was paid regularly until the child emancipated. And now there's just a small remaining balance. Looks like child support is $16.68. Medical support is 42 cents. There's a Medicaid balance of $140.91. And then service fees of $156 and processing fees of $117. So I'm not real sure why those didn't get paid. Like I said, the support stopped coming in when the child emancipated. Looks like the last payment came in July 26th of 2019 from an employer in the amount of $87.01. And again, the another prior payment on 7/19 of 2019 of $87.01 from an employer.
Any suggestion in terms of what be a proper course of action, given these very nominal arrearages?
I feel as though the friend of the court should make an attempt to reach out to the payer about paying this remaining balance and maybe waiving part of the fees.
I think that would be an appropriate course of action. Now, we collect fundamentally service fees, right? Processing?
Yeah.
If in fact that's the case, we could wipe out 117 of the $273 fee arrearages. He'd be liable for $17.10 owed directly to mother, $140.91 owed to the state, owed to the state, and $156 owed to service fee. So maybe a simple letter from your office would be sufficient to inform them and give him instructions as to how he may pay that. Hopefully he'll comply with that, send us a check, and we can wrap up the arrearage status and close the file. Does that sound acceptable?
That sounds acceptable.
Very good. I'll recommend such an order, and we'll go from there. Also recommend, actually, I'll defer to you in that regard to explain. We seek satisfaction of all assigned and unassigned arrearages. Plus, in your letter, you could just convey to him, we're going to give him a break of 117 in the total service fees, leaving a net obligation of 156 only in fees. Very good. Move off the record. Thanks.
I don't think so. You did a dismissal already,
I
haven't you?
haven't done it yet,
Okay.
but you still want me
She hasn't prepared, once I was in there, she prepared this dismissal of the time.
One of my least favorite words starts with the letter Z. Should be renamed Nebraska.
In order to meet that criteria, hence the minimum of the other YouTube. Yes, because it's a public hearing. Or we would have done that for right.
Whether or not you can ask me. My solution. Which one is that?
The temporary, they're dismissing it. They're dismissing junk house and reach out to the department.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking I had anything to prepare that. Oh, let's see.
It's not hard.
It's a little mood setter. A little zip.
This is doing kind of a derivation of space-time time.
Kind of. I don't think so. It's like kind of same thing.
But that's more and more, that's easier to do, isn't it? Skype or FaceTime as opposed to Zoom.
Right, you just pick whatever. Right. Okay. And then it's on a Skype or anything. Multi participants. Okay.
I have to thank the gentleman that really good to say we no longer have an election.
Oh, yeah, we won't be any taking motions
Yeah.
because we already have a record of it.
I've got to roll and straight up. That's about a minute fast.
Let's see what we have here. See what we said, oh, maybe she can do it, or did they give it to you? They gave you ours? Yes, okay. And so that is good. And we did that in person. Let me just see if she can hear us. Can you see if she can hear us?
Ma'am, can you hear me?
I don't see anyone's muted. I don't see anyone's muted. It could be on my class resume. See if she can hear us.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
So she's just unmute her phone.
You need to unmute your phone.
I can't do it on my side. I don't have anything that shows that she needs to be unmuted. It's over here. I have one on this one. I can't hear her. Okay. She needs to know that you saw it. She don't think she saw it you. She's gonna probably try that again.
Do I have a fish flash?
No. Not at all.
I look like a
Okay, you're gonna have the sun.
Maybe it just checks blood pressure color. And this is tough.
Okay, hang on, now I see it.
Right.
Now we have the change, now we have the option to unmute it. Okay, hang on. Okay, now we're good.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, looks like Mr. Preston.
Sorry, I'm not used to this.
Don't worry, I'm not either.
Okay, hang on a minute. Let's see if we can get Mr. Preston.
No, I don't know.
I'm working, oh, wait, she's muted, okay. See if he can hear us.
Mr. Preston, can you hear me?
Also, looks like he's still connecting, maybe. Can she still hear us?
Ma'am, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, he's still muted. He's gonna have to go back on, I think, because do something with his audio. Mr. Preston, we can't hear him. He needs to work on his audio.
We can't hear you, Mr. Preston. Work on your audio.
Okay. He can't hear us. You did. She's doing it right now. Okay. Yes, that'll be it. Okay, here we go. Hang on. Okay, can you hear us now?
Mr. Preston, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr.
Yeah,
Preston?
yes,
Okay, hang on a second.
yes, sir. I can hear you now.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We're on the record the matter of Patricia Ellison Donahue versus Robert Preston Jr. Mr. Preston, I've got you at 420 East Rose Ave in Garden City. Is that right?
Yes,
You have a confidential address from Mr. Preston, ma'am?
No,
A
it
what?
doesn't matter.
I'm asking her if she's got a confidential address from you. What's your answer, ma'am?
No, I don't. You can just Google my name. It comes up, so.
If it's, if your address in our system is marked confidential, okay to mark it non-confidential?
Yes, that's fine.
Very good. 402 8th Street, Michigan Center is your address?
Yes.
Very good. Show cause hearing scheduled this date with respect to allegation that Mr. Preston has failed to comply with his child support payment obligations. I'll defer to our caseworker in the hearing room, Melissa LaFontaine, and she'll explain the file's current circumstances, and I'll give everybody a chance to render a response.
Referee Manser, 2018 docket. It appears that there is a current charge, monthly charge of $553, which is $127.13 per week. The total account balance is $10,946. Looks like there was a support review on 10/8/2019. The last payment received was in the amount of $85 on 9/16/2019 made by the payer. There was also a prior payment of $60 on 8/12/2019 made by the payer. And it also does appear that we very recently received an involuntary payment in the amount of $1,200. These are the only payments ever made on the case. There's no employer listed for Mr. Preston at this time.
Okay. Mr. Preston, any reason to dispute the file's current status as referenced by Ms. LaFontaine?
Yeah, there was a discrepancy when I first came into this. And when I first started working, they had me classed as a union roofer, and they thought that I was making $30-something thousand a year, and I wasn't. So it took months to get that cleared up, and they said I still owed for it. But I got my tax forms and stuff here. You know, I made a couple payments, but, you know, there was a mass confusion with me. I'm supposed to be able to talk to them on the phone and see them, and I want to. But just coming home, you know, I've only been home for about a year and a half, and I'm doing okay. But, you know, life caught up with me. I was gone for 13 years almost. You know, I'm getting my life on track, but, you know, I don't want to be in this situation, but I want to start putting some money into this and start getting it cleared up. But I'd like to know about when I first made the first couple payments and stuff. I wasn't allowed to even talk to them on the phone when I had a court order to talk to them on the phone.
There's no
Okay.
court order for you to talk to him on the phone.
Okay, we're not here, Mr. Preston, on the issue of parenting time, although I appreciate your concerns. We're here primarily on the issue of child support, and I'm impressed by the fact that you stated you want to make some payments and make some arrangements on this file, and that's basically why we're here. If you want to address the parenting time issue, you can do that at any time, either directly with Ms. Donahue or through our office or through the motion process. So first of all, let me ask you a question. Are you working?
Yes, sir. I've been working for Harvest Roofing since I came home, but because of last year and weather permitting, I only made $13,000. I've got my tax forms here for last year, and they thought I made $30,000 a year, and
Okay,
I didn't. And I had
What's the name of your employer again?
Harvest Roofing LLC,
Where's it located?
29721 Julius Boulevard, Westland, Michigan.
Okay, give me that again, please.
29721 Julius Boulevard,
In Westland?
Westland, Michigan,
What's the zip code?
48186.
How long have you worked there?
I've known him most of my life, but I've been with him ever since. I've been almost 2 years on and off, weather permitting.
Okay, when we did a support review on you, Mr. Preston, back in October of 19, we calculated your support at $16 per hour at 30 hours per week. Was that a fair assessment of your income?
Yeah, after I got
Okay.
started working, what I was making.
Very good. Okay. Now, are you an employee of the company or are you an independent contractor?
Well, I was an employee, but since this COVID stuff hit and the company kind of is kind of on standby right now, but I've pretty much been self-employed. I've been doing my own thing. I mean, trying to get it the best I can. I mean.
But are you still doing jobs for Harvest Roofing?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes, I
basically,
am.
when you're paid, do they take money out of your paycheck for taxes?
No, I 1099.
Okay. And how long you been doing the 1099?
For probably a year.
Okay, very good. All right.
And we ain't been working because my boss just had a slight heart attack and he's in the hospital right now. So we've been I
hope he does well. All right, so what do you propose in terms of payments, Mr. Preston?
Okay, my heart is into it 100%.
Excellent.
She's raised them kids for a long time. They're alive and well. And but 13 years in prison, just coming home the first year and a half, all this stuff caught up to me and I got overwhelmed and I'm just trying to survive. And I'm ready today, right now, man. I'll go get money today and send it.
Can I say
I'll
something?
Yeah, ma'am, I'll give you a chance as soon as he's finished, okay? Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Preston. You said something about sending money now or something?
I would like to just send something and then maybe start chipping away at this. Now that we've brought it up and we've got it on the table, and I've got to speak, I would like to start this.
Okay,
Peacefully,
okay, your weekly charge is $127.13. Excuse me, I just want to give you that information. What do you propose to pay in terms of your proposal here today?
Well, considering that I'm out of work and I'm working for myself right now, odd jobs here and there, I can, I'm working on the stimulus check. I know that's going to go straight to child support. I'm working on getting that because I haven't filed taxes in like 14 years. I'm having a few identity issues with these people. So when that comes, I already know that's going to child support. So I'm working on getting that direction.
Okay, now, the most immediate question is, what do you propose to pay as we speak?
I'll go get $300 today.
Okay, that's a good start. Now, after you make your $300 payment, how much can you put on the file?
Oh, man, sir, I'd like to put every dime I have on it, but it'll vary. It's going to vary between maybe a couple $100 a week.
Well, tell me exactly what you propose so we can, Ms. Donahue knows how to respond, okay?
So are you talking about a weekly payment or a monthly payment?
Well, either one, whatever your income allows you to make X amount per week or Y amount monthly, or what do you propose?
Can I shoot for, can I try to do like maybe between $300 and $400 a month if I can?
Okay, so you're gonna make $300 payment today, is that right?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will go and get it.
Okay, and you propose, let's just say an average of $350 per month, starting when?
Okay, I go get 3 today. And that'll give me a month. That'll give me a month to get things in order, get things on track.
Okay. So you pay $350 on, let's say, a month from today, July 10th of 2020. That sound fair?
Yeah.
All right, 300 today, 300 on 7/10 of 20, 350, I should say, and then a like amount or more each month thereafter. Would that be acceptable to you, Mr. Preston?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish it was more. Shoot for more, but I mean,
your response to Mr. Preston's proposal.
I just don't want to have to keep coming back and filing motions because he's not paying. He's sitting here saying that he had this job, he was working, he made 13 grand. We went to court, I believe it was May of last year, and he said he wasn't working because of the weather. Well, then he must have made that $13,000 between May and whenever they stopped working. So he was making decent money in those months, and he never paid a dime. He paid $80 and $50. That's $130 for 2 kids that I have raised. It takes more than $130.
Would it be acceptable, ma'am? He pays $300 today and $350 per month, starting July 10th of this year. Would that be acceptable to you?
It would be acceptable, but I don't want his child support to go down. I want it to still be based off what they said in May. I don't want it to go down to $350 a month.
Well,
But if he can,
I'm not recommending a change in the charge. I'm basically, we're coming to an agreement, hopefully, that defines his payment obligation in keeping the current charge. You understand that, Mr. Preston?
yes. Can I say something?
Sure.
can I finish?
Yes, you can, ma'am. Just a second. Go ahead, Mr. Preston.
The $350 a month, you know, I mean, I'm putting my neck trying to do that because I actually am unemployed. I'm just slinging from the hip, you know, I'm just doing any odd job I can. And
You should be getting unemployment
I-
if you're unemployed right now, being that all the situation. And people on unemployment are making more than I'm making in 1 week than I make in 2 weeks. So
Go ahead, Mr. Preston.
employment, I'm just having identity issues because I just can't, you know, I haven't filed taxes in so many years. But yes, Trish, you are exactly right. That little $100 and something is a very poor example of what I'm supposed to be demonstrating. And I apologize for that. So can we just like try this? And then is there somehow, I mean, I don't want your phone number or whatever, or just contact a mediator. Like if you guys
you
need something.
you gotta go through the courts for that. And I already,
Okay.
that's a whole different court. So
All right.
Okay, do we have
Right
an
now we're
agreement? Do you have an agreement, ma'am?
yeah, we're in agreement as long as he can stay with the $350 a month. And what's the consequences when he misses a payment a month?
A provision will be in the order for the caseworker to review Mr. Preston's compliance with the order. If the caseworker finds that that Mr. Preston is not complying with his consent order that's going to enter here today, then it's a situation where we're going to instigate more further enforcement measures against him. So we're going to ride a herd in this case, so to speak. That sound fair, ma'am?
Right, a what? I'm sorry.
We're going to ride herd on this. We're going to monitor his case, okay?
Okay, so
right.
so if he
All right.
doesn't, is it like a stay or pay or stay kind of thing, or?
No, it's not going to be anything like that. It's going to be, we're just going to monitor the file after we give him an opportunity to comply with the order itself. And then we're going to let the caseworker examine the file on a periodic basis to make sure he's doing what he's supposed to do, okay?
But he's still ordered to pay the 5 something a month.
He's still being charged the current charge unless there's another charge that he'll have to pursue. If he believes that charge is too much, he says he'll have obligation to seek appropriate remedies through seeking an amended support charge.
Okay,
Acceptable to you, Mr. Preston?
Yes, sir.
Very good. And do you know how to make the payments, Mr. Preston?
Yes, sir. I have those little coupons that you
Yes,
fill
yes,
out.
that's very good. I was going to send you some if you didn't have any. Any questions, ma'am, as we wind up?
no,
Mr. Preston?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. And we'll prepare an order of which you both will receive at your respective addresses. And thanks for coming in and good luck to you both, okay?
thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Go off the record. You can both hang up, please.
Oh.